And October to Remember continues this week on the Hornet Sports Report. Volleyball's record run is now at 10 matches in a row. Soccer has pushed its winning streak to 8. The cross-country team gets set for the SWAC championship, and football returns to action in the Magic City Classic. The Alabama State University Hornet Sports Report starts now. And thank you for joining us for another edition of the Hornet Sports Report. State Farm Magic City Classic on tap this week for Alabama State football, joined now by head coach Reggie Barlow. And coach, you and your staff had a chance to recharge your batteries and give the team a chance to heal some bumps and bruises last week.
Well, you're right. The bye week came at a really good time for us. After about 7 or 8 games there, our guys have been going after it since August the 2nd. So came at a good time. Our guys were able to get some rest. Coaches was able to recharge the batteries. Also gave them an opportunity to catch up on their studies. So it was a good, productive week for us.
With so many activities around the Magic City Classic, from the press conference to the luncheons, pep rallies for the fans, this week in Birmingham really will be the center of Black college football.
Yeah, this game is a huge game for us, and this atmosphere is a great one to be a part of. Our alumni, our fans, of course, our opponents, alumni and fans. It's a big deal to a lot of people. So we're excited that we have an opportunity to be a part of it. We embrace the thought of it and not shy away from it. It is a big game. It does mean a lot to a lot of people. We're going to prepare that way, and we're going to go up and, of course, try to make everybody proud.
One of the things that always stands out for me on Fridays when we pull in for the walkthrough, you already have thousands of fans already surrounding Legion Field. To a player who has not experienced that, what do you tell them about what that memory is like?
Well, all week I really tease the younger guys about playing in front of a big audience and being in that type of atmosphere, and they all claim they're ready for it. But you can look back on our bus when we pull up and they see all the RVs there. It's a pretty amazing thought process when you see all those people there that are there for the game. So you can't really prepare them for it. It's just something that they have to live through their first time. We'll go to the stadium on Friday and have an opportunity to walk through and all that stuff. And then, of course, come Saturday, it'll be another challenge of them seeing even more RVs and even more fans out there. But it's a great game to be a part of, and of course we're looking forward to it.
You've experienced this game as a player, assistant coach, and as a head coach. Other than winning, what memories stand out for you?
Well, I was asked this question this morning. I think in '92, my redshirt freshman year, I think as athletes, we're always trying to figure out, do we belong? Are we capable of making the plays on a big stage? And we were down a couple of points. We were driving. There was a pass thrown over the middle on 3rd down. I was able to come up with the catch to sustain the drive, which we eventually scored a touchdown. But that was the shining moment for me that gave me the confidence that I belong at ASU, that I belong, and that I could make big plays in big games like that. So that was kind of the confidence booster for me as I went on throughout my career.
Last season, MVP performances by Greg Jenkins and Jimmy Daniels led Alabama State to victory. Let's look back on last season's highlights. we'll preview this weekend's State Farm Magic City Classic. But up next, we'll talk Alabama State volleyball with head coach Penny Lucas-White. You're watching the Hornet Sports Report.
Helping wounded heroes start anew, creating new DNA technologies to help keep our communities safe. If you haven't seen ASU lately, you haven't seen ASU. Alabama State University has expanded academic opportunities with new degrees in forensic chemistry, prosthetics and orthotics, applied technology, and microbiology. ASU students and faculty are at the forefront of cutting-edge research that is changing lives. If you haven't seen ASU lately, you haven't seen ASU.
The hard work, the sweat, the pain. It all comes down to this. Who will rise as others fall? Who will leave victorious? Houston will never be the same. It's the Battle of the Bands and the 2013 Toyota SWAC Football Championship. Who will be victorious on Judgment Day?
Welcome back to the Hornet Sports Report. Alabama State volleyball now on a 10-match winning streak after defeating Alabama A&M and Savannah State last week. Joined now by head coach Penny Lucas-White. And Coach White, always good to beat A&M. Great atmosphere. Talk about last week's match.
It was actually a wonderful atmosphere, but it was tough to play in. The gym was packed. It was Dig Pink night for them, and but I was pleased. The girls came out and they fought through a lot of just difficulty. I thought it was difficult to hear. So we thought we were hearing one play called and something else was going on. I know they couldn't hear me in timeouts, and so we had to kind of get very, clustered in real close so they could hear instructions. But what a wonderful environment for A&M.
You always talk about the growth of this team, the resiliency. I think it was pretty much on display Friday night in a very tough environment.
Absolutely. I felt like Myla Marshall played a phenomenal match. I thought that Ellen Jones, who always does a wonderful job for us in serving, she did a great job because we ran out of subs. I think it was in set 2. And I had to leave her up front row, and she finished the set with a setter's dump, and so she hit 1,000 on the night. But overall, I felt like the girls played hard.
And that total team effort is what it's going to take to sustain this momentum down the line.
Absolutely. I think we can't get overconfident. I think we need to make sure that we keep them focused, that we always have an objective every time we go into practice, something we need to solve. And there are some things that we need to work on, that we need to get better at. And that's the goal. I think this upcoming weekend is a tough weekend, a Texas swing, so it's pretty tough.
We'll talk about that in just a moment, but talk about what it means to finish the first half of conference play undefeated with 3 of those wins on the road.
It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. It's a great accomplishment, and overall, I'm very pleased.
You mentioned the Texas trip this weekend, playing at Prairie View, at Texas Southern. PV has been a perennial contender in the conference. You purposely scheduled these matches to go to their environment to compete against them. Talk about this weekend.
I think it's very important that we compete against them before we go to the conference tournament, because I think the conference tournament is up for grabs. I think any team can win because we know anybody can be beaten on any given day. But I think if we know what we're up against, we know what to expect, I think we're going to be better prepared. I think Prairie View has a really good middle hitter and a great lefty on the right side. And I think Texas Southern has a wonderful middle hitter who swings both left, right, and middle. That's going to be a tough swing. I think it's important that we go in and play our game and that we play hard. But, you know, I think coming home with victories will tell me a whole lot about our team. Coming home with less than that is still going to tell me a lot and what we need to work on.
And how do you judge that as a coach? You know you've won 10 matches in a row, but you're always looking to get better. How do you balance the two?
I think it's very, for me, because I'm always watching videotape, that's very easy for me to realize what we need to get better at. I don't know if the other teams are scouting us, but I know Valerie Armstrong, my first assistant, she scouts us to find our weakness, and so we work on that in the upcoming week. But I think we definitely have some areas that we need to improve upon, and that's what we'll be doing.
Alabama State Volleyball on this Texas trip this upcoming weekend. Follow the Hornets wherever you are. Get the latest news on the official website at BamaStateSports.com. Plus, download our free mobile apps for Android and iPhone, and follow us on social media on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Visit BamaStateSports.com/social media. Hornet Pride 365 is a new giving campaign aimed to support Alabama State athletics. For just $1 a day, you can make the difference in the lives of our student athletes. For more information and to make a donation, visit BamaStateSports.com/Hornet Pride 365. Welcome back to the Hornet Sports Report. Alabama State Soccer continues its winning streak now at 8 matches in a row, joined now by head coach Jody Smith. And Coach Smith, your team went on the road this past weekend at Grambling and Arkansas Pine Bluff and took care of business.
Yeah, you know, when you go on the road, you want to survive. It's the grind late in the season. Our girls came out and battled and came out with 2 quality wins.
Ariella Lewis scored first at Grambling in the 10-minute mark. Talk about the psychological advantage of scoring early on the road.
When you're on the road, obviously you want to try to dictate play, try to take the crowd out of it, and by scoring early, lets us take a chance to breathe, relax, and kind of get in the flow a little bit without the pressure of the game kind of going on. With the lead, you can play more comfortable.
And to that end, talk about playing more comfortable. Talk about the confidence that the team is playing with being on such a winning streak such as this.
Well, we continue to find ways to win. Obviously, Aaliyah wasn't the goal scorer this weekend. We found other people to score, and that's the mark of a good team. Other people continue to make contributions. It just had to be 1 or 2, and we got that again this weekend. We had a shutout on Friday, and had a very good win on Sunday.
You mentioned Sunday's match against Arkansas Pine Bluff, scored 2 first-period goals to set the tone in that match.
Huge to get ahead by a significant margin, and like I said, it just allows you to play more comfortable.
Going into this week, the regular season finale at Alabama A&M, always a tough match. Anytime these 2 schools get together, it'll be important for the team to be successful this week.
Again, it's on the road. They're playing for a spot to get into the tournament, so their back is against the wall. We're expecting a high-pressure type affair, and we're going to have to survive the first few minutes of their intensity and then get into the flow of the game.
What will it mean to finish conference play undefeated?
Certainly be the first time in school history. It allows you to have that momentum leading into the conference weekend. Girls play with a lot of confidence, and just being able to relax, know that we can play with anybody in the conference, and when we go out to Houston to be in that comfort zone.
First of 2 Magic City matchups this weekend. Alabama State Soccer at Alabama A&M on Friday. We'll have more in the Hornet Sports Report up next.
This week's compliance tip of the week is about athletically related financial aid. NCAA Bylaw 1391 states that the following requirements must be met before an institution may provide a written offer of athletically related financial aid to a prospective student athlete. A high school or preparatory school prospective student athlete must register with the NCAA Eligibility Center. A high school or preparatory school prospective student athlete must be placed on the institution's institutional request list with the NCAA Eligibility Center, and a high school, preparatory school, or transfer prospective student athlete must complete the amateurism certification questionnaire administered by the NCAA Eligibility Center. Compliance is everyone's responsibility. Remember, ask before you act. That's this week's compliance tip of the week.
Welcome back to the Hornet Sports Report. The Alabama State cross-country teams will compete next week in the SWAC cross-country championships. Joined now by head coach Richie Bean. And Coach Bean, your teams have had a very strong showing during this fall season.
Absolutely, man. We've had a lot of fun. We've trained real hard since August. The men and women team is running strong. Practice has been fun. We've been really working out. And we have some young men and young women that's freshmen that stepped up for us this year.
One of the things I know you're big on is tradition. And these young men and women that you mentioned have come in and bought into the Alabama State tradition of cross-country and track and field.
Yeah, cross-country is a very unique sport within itself. It takes a special type of person to get out there and run mile after mile after mile. And traditionally, our cross-country program is mostly made up of 400, 800-meter runners. And that's what catches a lot of teams by surprise when they get there and they realize this team is running well to have just mostly primarily 400, 800-meter runners.
Last two seasons, the women's team has won SWAC championships. You have a strong 1-2 punch in Paige Rankin and Trail the same, but it really takes a team effort to get it done. On the men's side, you've had some brand new players, some newcomers, true freshmen who have come in and set the tone for your program.
Absolutely. We have two freshman guys that's giving us a 1-2 punch this year, Andrew Kaku and Tyree Newton. Both are small guys, but they give a powerful punch, and what we're looking for in the men team, they're going to lead this men cross-country team into the next few years that we expect some really good things out of them.
Talk about what that can mean for your program. Last year, you had that 1-2 punch on the women's side with Australia and with Paige. Now, on the men's side, you have that same potential with two freshmen really anchoring this program for years to come.
Well, it's going to help in recruiting. Anytime you're looking for other runners, they want to see what other people are doing in the program, and these young men are giving us exactly what we're looking for. All I can say is for the rest of the people in the conference, look out for us because we're coming.
Going into this weekend in SWAC cross-country championships, will it be important for your team to be successful on Monday?
Well, we're going to stick to what we've been doing all season. That's having fun. There's no rabbit hat trick or anything like that we're going to do this week to try to get them ready. We're going to stick to the basics. We're going to have fun. We're going to get out there and run around and just get them focused on what it is that we got to do on next Monday.
We'll have coverage of that cross-country championship next week here on the Hornet Sports Report. Up next, we'll preview the State Farm Magic City Classic.
Helping wounded heroes start anew, creating new DNA technologies to help keep our communities safe. If you haven't seen ASU lately, you haven't seen ASU. Alabama State University has expanded academic opportunities with new degrees in forensic chemistry, prosthetics and orthotics, applied technology, and microbiology. ASU students and faculty are at the forefront of cutting-edge research that is changing lives. If you haven't seen ASU lately, you haven't seen ASU.
The hard work, the sweat, the pain. It all comes down to this. Who will rise as others fall? Who will leave victorious? Houston will never be the same. Catch the Battle of the Bands and the 2013 Toyota SWAC Football Championship. Who will be victorious on Judgment Day?
6 a.m. workout. Flies. Power cleans. Squats. Dips. Hard hitting. This is what we endure. 365 days. Game on.
Welcome back to the Hornet Sports Report. Here now with head football coach Reggie Barlow on the eve of the State Farm Magic City Classic, and I know you have a great respect for the A&M program and their head coach Anthony Jones.
Yeah, Coach Jones, he's done it the right way at Alabama A&M. He's had a lot of really good teams there. He's won a championship, competed for it at least 3 times. Of course, we have a lot of respect for him and his team. The coaches up there, they do a good job, and we're looking forward to an opportunity to compete against them on Saturday.
Offensively, you know, one thing they're really going to try to do is run the ball, establish the run, and run it some more.
Well, they're going to do that. They've always been physical, running the ball, running out of a 2-back set. They want to throw the ball to the tight end, and then, of course, they want to use some play-action passes. So we have to have our defensive line, our linebackers, mentally set for a physical challenge there on Saturday because they are going to run the ball, and the only way we're going to have success is we got to stop the run.
Defensively, they're playing very well. Number 1 in total defense, number 2 in fewest points allowed, and in rushing defense.
Yeah, they've always had a very aggressive style of defense. Coach Townsend, he does a great job up there, and it's no different this year. So we'll have our work cut out for us. I mean, they'll bring blitzes. Our offensive line got to make sure we understand picking up linebackers, not getting locked on one guy when they're stunting and twisting. Quarterback has to understand where the pressure is coming from, and which means our receivers got to play that much faster. The ball may be coming out a little bit quicker. So they're good defense, and they're number 1 for a reason. And it'll be a huge challenge for us to see how we can manufacture some points against a really good defense.
X and O wise, teams pretty much are who they are 7 games in, but there's always some wrinkles when you have an extra week to prepare. Talk about how your team adjusts for those things on the fly on game day.
Well, in all 3 phases, we're going to show our guys things that may come up, whether it's a fake punt, whether it's a throwback pass that they may run on offense, just things that we've seen in the past that they've kind of done that has, caught us off guard. So. And it's the same way for us. I mean, you always had a wrinkle or 2 when you had a little time off. But and if those opportunities presents itself in the game, then of course you call it. But we got to be ready for everything. It's one of those games where you throw the records out and just got to be prepared for everything.
How do you keep your guys focused with so many activities going on? You have some veterans who've gone through it. For the first timers, how do you keep them focused on the task at hand?
Well, the weekend up there, it's for the fans. The only part that's for us is the game. And we talk about controlling the external factors, the comedy show, the bands, the step-offs, all that stuff has no bearing on the game. And we can't control what they're going to be doing. And we only going to control what takes place on the rectangle, and that's the field. And that'll be our mindset. And when they leave ASU as student-athletes, then they'll get an opportunity to go back and see what people were doing on Friday nights. But right now it'll only be about football for us. Well, the weekend up there, it's for the fans. The only part that's for us is the game. And we talk about controlling the external factors, that the external factors, the comedy show, the bands, the step-offs, all that stuff has no bearing on the game. And we can't control what they're going to be doing. And we only going to control what takes place on the rectangle, and that's the field. And that'll be our mindset. And when they leave ASU as student athletes, then they'll get an opportunity to go back and see what people were doing on Friday nights. But right now it'll only be about football for us.
The 72nd State Farm Magic City Classic set for Birmingham this weekend. Watch all the action live on ESPN3.com and tape delayed on ESPNU at 9:30 Central Time on Saturday night. Thanks for joining us for this week's edition of the Hornet Sports Report.